So I guess all those missions really were possible. It has been a while since I've got on the mic and recorded. That's because I was sick, and I apologize for this review coming late, but that just happens sometimes. I wish I could get more movie reviews out as much as I want, but unfortunately I can't. I can only see so many a week, and when I'm sick, I'm sick. But I'm back, ready to talk about Mission Impossible 8, Final Reckoning, and I saw this a while ago, and I have some things to say. When it comes to the Mission Impossible franchise, I've actually recently started watching all of them with my brother to get up to this new installment. I didn't really think there was this many installments. Me and my brother were able to get through them in a good amount of time. And quick thing I want to mention, before we talk about the Final Reckoning, I will say I think my favorite Mission Impossible before this was Mission Impossible Fallout. That was straight up a banger. Dead Reckoning was also pretty great, but now we're going to talk about the Final Reckoning, the 8th installment of the Mission Impossible franchise, and also the last. This is the last time Tom Cruise is going to be traumatizing his cameramen, and I bet they're really happy for that. Now, if you've seen one Mission Impossible movie, you probably have seen them all. You probably know that these movies are going to be over the top when it comes to its action. And just like the Fast and the Furious franchise, they definitely upped the ante every single installment, and that was definitely the case with this new one. Not only is this a really long movie, it has a lot of set pieces, and I thought they took advantage of everything really well. First, I want to mention the story to start things. Obviously, this is a part 2 to the Dead Reckoning film. Ethan Hunt now has the key that gives him access to the source code that made the entity, and now he needs to properly dispose of it and save the world from causing a bunch of fucked up shit. Beginning of the movie states that the entity is trying to capture control of global nuclear systems, and if he or the system gets in control of this, then yeah, like I mentioned, a lot of bad shit's gonna happen. Ethan is ordered by the president to hand over the key to America, but he doesn't want to because he wants to get rid of the entity as well as take care of Gabriel, the guy who's somewhat working with the entity but also trying to control it as well. I think the plot was very good. Obviously, it continues off of the last movie, and I really don't want to talk too much about the last movie, but it is what it is. That's just me. Essentially, the entity is this source code or this AI program that is super fucking smart. It can do basically anything it fucking wants to. It can make people disappear. It can spread misinformation as well as do whatever it wants on the internet and change things. It could also like hack into anything and take control of anything as long as it's digital. One cool thing about this whole plot line is in the last movie, the government agencies had to go to like typical typewriters to like send everything, and I just think that's really cool because it's like they can't, you know, risk anything being online, so the entity could just take over and, you know, get more information. But yeah, I think this is a very interesting plot line. It's not the most original, but Mission Impossible does a lot to make it interesting. Obviously, this movie is a Tom Cruise film. He helped produce it, so it stars him, Tom Cruise being Ethan Hunt, who's been the same Ethan Hunt for a very long time, and I'd say he's done a really good job in all of his movies. He kind of reminds me of John Wick when it comes to acting. I would say his acting is bad, but I also wouldn't say he's like the most amazing actor ever. He just does a really good job with what he's given, and I really think that's really cool about him. We have other stars like Simon Pegg, of course being Benji throughout all these films, as well as Ving Rhames, I don't know, being Luther, also staying with his role throughout all of these films since the second one. And really, there's a lot of other characters in this film where, you know, they do stuff. They're important. Isai Morales plays Gabriel, and, you know, he is a interesting antagonist, though I really wish we'd got to see more of him. And of course, Harley Atwell is Grace again from the last movie. This is definitely a very good cast. You know, everyone I'd say did a great job. No one really stood out as like, oh, they deserve to have an Oscar. But like I said, like with Tom Cruise, everyone did a great job that they should definitely feel proud of themselves. The plot's not like the most craziest story. It's definitely easy to understand, and it's nothing to like write home about, but it's very interesting. You can definitely see this as being a wacky movie series or franchise, but they do a good job with it. There's definitely a lot of stunt pieces, a lot of action in this film, a lot of fights, a lot of shooting, a lot of stuff that makes my brain go happy. Typically in every like Mission Impossible film, there's always this one stunt that Tom Cruise does in every film that just is absolutely crazy. And I feel like they did two things with this film, although one of them is probably not real. I mean, obviously it's not real because that'd be fucking insane. But I think the whole stunt piece of Tom Cruise having to go underwater to retrieve the source code for the entity was a very cool sequence. Obviously it's tense, it's scary. There's even the music during this whole scene was like making it was like, oh, this shit is creepy as fuck. This is scary. No man should ever do this. This is fucking stupid. Whoever does this is crazy. And Ethan's character just manages to get what he needs, and it's a really cool scene. And I don't want to talk too much about it because there's just a lot of things that I like about it. And like, man, you can definitely feel the tension in these scenes. Even towards the end of the movie, there's a sequence where Tom Cruise is somewhat dogfighting with the main villain, and he's holding onto the plane for dear life. Again, don't want to say too much about the scene, but man, it's just crazy. Like, of course, even if these stunts are all like, you know, I mean, they're done practically, they're real, but of course there's a lot of, you know, protocols and safety equipment, but man, it is just insane. They do good work with the camera. There's a lot of times where you definitely feel like you're in the film as well. It's definitely makes for a very fun movie. I mentioned it earlier, there's times where the music really does a good job with the film. It really adds to the story, it sets the tone, it really lets the audience know what's about to happen. I said earlier, when Tom Cruise has to go underwater, it's not just some like, ooh, some mysterious underwater place. They straight up have some horror music because it is supposed to be scary and like creepy. So they did a really good job with that as well. There wasn't anything too bad with the whole editing process of this film. I also didn't think anything about the movie's pacing was that bad. I thought it all flowed very well. This being a part 2 film kind of has that, you know, that excuse where it's like, well, no, this is only half of a movie. You got to see the other half if you want to know more stuff or if you want to see more. And, you know, the only other thing I really want to talk about is the whole Mission Impossible franchise as a whole. I definitely think these are movies that are worth it. I really do like action movies. I especially love them when they're done right. And this is definitely a franchise that has done a lot of things right. I can't really say there's a single bad Mission Impossible movie out there, really. This movie just incorporates so much from the past movies, especially at the beginning. They talk about how like Ethan's been on so many of these adventures, so many things led up to this moment. There's even points in the film where they bring up old plot points that was like, oh, that was important that Ethan went on this mission, or this thing happened for a reason. Whoever was in charge of this movie, and especially the whole franchise, which I guess that's Tom Cruise because he mainly produced a bunch of them, if not all of them, they all did an amazing job. And honestly, I'm really glad I got to watch all of these films. They're so much fun. They definitely, you know, bring a lot to the table. They're action movies through and throughout, but they do things right, unlike other action movies that I can say that comes out, you know, nowadays. I don't want to say this is like the most serious franchise ever, but there are serious moments in it, and I don't regret watching any of it. It's a lot of fun, and I highly recommend all of the movies. People, you should definitely watch these movies. They're a lot of fun. Yeah, honestly, that's really all I want to say about this film. I don't want to talk about spoilers, mainly because I'd rather just get my thoughts and takes out about this movie right now because I'm so fucking behind. But as of right now, I'm going to give this movie a good old 9 out of 10. And yeah, I think this is one of the best movies that have come out this year, really. That's it. The only thing is, I just wish we would have gotten to know more about the main antagonist. And there was this little plot point with the president and her son. That kind of just came out of nowhere where it's like, oh, we're supposed to feel for her, but it's like, we don't really like have that much going for her. Other than that, there's a lot of good things in this film. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention, like, there was like 2 moments in this film that made me cry. Now, normally, if a film can get me that emotional, I would probably give it a 10 already, but there's still other issues that this movie really needs to like fix up before I could give it that 10, but still, they do so many things right. If you're a fan of Mission Impossible, you're going to like this film, and I recommend everyone watch it. Do I think this movie was a success? It's really hard to say, considering its budget was $400 million fucking dollars. I don't know how Skydance is able to afford this, and typically, if that's the budget, this movie needs to make $1 billion to make a good profit. But either way, even if it doesn't make its money back, this is still a fun movie to watch. I definitely recommend it. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. What do you guys think? Do you guys want me to review any other movies? Please let me know. After this, it's what, the 12th? Tomorrow's Friday the 13th, so woohoo, spooky day. But I know there's How to Train Your Dragon, the live-action remake. I'm about to talk about the Karate Kid Legends film. There's also the new John Wick Ballerina film that I haven't watched yet, so look out for those reviews. Those are coming up next in some order. I will get to them. Again, this is not something I do, you know, full time. So yeah, thank you for watching this video, and look out for more reviews in the future for movies in 2025. And if you want to see other reviews from 2025, go to my channel. So, you know, if you like them, feel free to subscribe, and you can always unsubscribe if you decide you hate my opinions. All right, that's all I gotta say. Everyone, you have a nice one.